Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Hello, Professor. Our topic is factors affecting employee attrition, segment, and satisfaction. And my name is Gensao Ye, and he is Yu Hui Chen, and she is Zhao Fang. Next. And this is our agenda. And first is introduction, research questions, and significance of the study. Next is visualizations, pre-processing, modeling method, conclusion, business suggestion, and reference. Next. First, introduction. And employee attrition is divided as employees leaving their organizations for unpredictable or uncontrollable reasons. Knowing an organization's attrition rate helps understand how employee friendly the organization is and what it can do better. A higher attrition rate could mean insufficient compensation and benefits and high pressure work culture or inadequate learning and professional development opportunities. No matter what the reason, employees attrition is an expensive business problem and filling vacant positions costs significant time and money. Therefore, our goal is to find which factors will affect employee attritions. Next. Research. The second part is research questions and the significance of the study. Next. And it is important for companies to identify the factors that can cause high attrition rates and to learn about the company's employee segment and employee satisfaction. So here are our research questions. First, what are the factors that lead to employee attrition and what is correlation between those factors and attrition, like performance rating, years at the company, years in current role, or years since last promotion. And what factors have an effect on employee attitudes and satisfaction, like person salary hike, years in current role, years since last promotion, or overtime. Uh, the third hypothesis is there any preference on different demographic segments in their organizations, like age, gender, material, status, education? Next, the visualizations. We use Tableau to do our visualizations. Next. And first, the performance rating. This suggests that employees with a performance rating 3 may be more likely to leave company compared to those with performance rating 4. And the years at a company, it indicates that employees with fewer than 10 years or 10 years of tenure at a company are more likely to leave. And years in current role, and it indicate that years above 16 are likely to stay until retirement. And monthly income. It shows that when the salary is below 11K, the attrition rate is higher compared to salaries above 11K. Next. And distance from home. It displays that individuals who live at a shorter distance from the company are less likely to leave the company. And promote percent salary hike. It shows that employees who have a higher percentage salary hike are more likely to leave their jobs. The relation satisfaction indicates that higher satisfaction levels are associated with greater employee retention. And over time. It shows that the people are not willing to work overtime. Next. This is our age and education and gender martial status. Next.
Here I will introduce the preprocessing process of our dataset. In previous slide, I believe everyone can see the vast differences between the amount of the attrition data and the other features. This situation consider our dataset is in balance, so we need to balance the dataset in order to improve the comparability of our dataset and our model performance, and also can reduce the bias. So we do the preprocessing process by using Python. First, we normalize the data and keep every data between 0 and 1. Here is an example of our data after we normalize the data. When data is normalized, it can be compared and analyzed more accurately. In addition, normalization can help to identify outlier in the data and make data easy to visualize and interpret. Then we balance the data, keeping attrition data and other features with the seamless amount of the data. Here are the results before and after we balance the data. As we can see, before we balance the data, there's a huge differences between attrition and non-attrition data. And after that, we split the data into training and testing data sets and run the logistic regression model to find out the top 10 most correlated features with attrition status. And these 10 features are the potential answer to our research question before we do the modeling method. Then we do the modeling method by using Python. In our project, we use decision tree, random forest, and naive bias to test and predict the data. At the end of the process, we also check the ROC curve. And here's the first model we use, the decision tree. The decision tree model has an accuracy of 0.7837, which means it correctly classifies nearly 78% of the data in the test set. The F1 score here is a 0.7866, which is a good number, indicating that the model is performing well. The cross validation scores are around 0.8 here, and which indicating that the model's performance is constant across different forms of the data. The mean cross validation score is 0.79 and is close to the accuracy scores, so which means the model is not overfitting. The confusion matrix here shows the distribution of true and predicted labels. The model correctly predicts 285 instance of label 0 and 285 instance of label 1. However, it misclassified 84 instances of the label 0 as label 1 and 78 instances of label 1 as label 0. Overall, the decision tree model appears to be performing reasonably well with consistent cross-validation scores and high F1 score. The next model is random forest, and the random forest models have a high accuracy. It correctly classifies 86% of the instance in the test set. The F1 score here is also high, indicate that the model is performing very well. The cross validation scores are high and similar, so the model's performance is consistent across different folds of the data. The mean cross validation scores here is 0.8772, and it is also close to the accuracy, so which means our model is not overfitting. The confusion matrix shows the distribution of true and predict labels. The model correctly predicts 330 true negative results and 308 true positive results. However, it misclassifies 39 false positive and 63 false negative. Overall, the random forest model appears to be performing very well. The last model we use is naive Bayes. It has an accuracy of 0.623, which means that it correctly classifies 62.3% of the test set. The F1 scores here is 0.673, which is not as better as the other two models. The cross validation scores here is 0.79, 0.78, 0.68, 0.74, and 0.77, indicating that the model's performance varies across different folders of the data. The mean cross validation scores is 0.757, and which is lower than the accuracy. This considering the model may be overfitting the data. So the confusion metric here correctly predict 174 instance of label 0 and 287 instance of label 1. However, it must classify 195 instance of label 0 as label 1 and 84 instance of the label 1 as label 0. Overall, the naive Bayes model is not performing as well as the decision tree or random forest model with lower accuracy and F1 score. It also appears to be overfitting the data as the mean cross validation score is lower than the accuracy score. So this is our ROC curve. In this case, the model's AUC, the AUC is 0.78, indicates that it has a relatively good discriminatory ability, with 78% of the area under the curve correctly distinguishing between positive and negative samples. This means that the model has a moderate to good ability to correctly classify true positive and true negative and distinguish them from false positive and false negative. And next, Fangjia will continue to present.
Sorry. Based on the conclusion and analysis we did before, we found all the factors we choose have a higher relationship with the attrition rate. Also, based on the literature we read, employee job satisfaction, which also related to us most of the factors, is essential for the success of any organization. Staff members who feel appreciated and rewarded for their efforts are more likely to enjoy their jobs and can contribute to the success of the organization. So whether employees are satisfied or not will definitely have some impact on their company's attrition. As for travel factor, it is more important than other factors. The attrition of people who travel frequently was higher than that of the people who are rarely traveled. And by viewing of the result of the three models, we also found that WASP persons are more likely to leave the job. Then we can go for the next page. About a business suggestion, we got 6 main points about it. And employers can reduce business travel and focus on employee retention strategies like career development program and a rejection for long-serving employees. Conducting regular performance evaluations and promotion opportunities, and addressing the unique needs of employees based on the marital status and job involvement, ensuring competitive compensation and benefits packages, managing overtime hours effectively, and offering opportunities for career advancement and growth within the current role. And finally, organizations should focus on job attitudes such as job satisfaction and commitment. Personal reasons such as positive and negative feelings, role of WLB in employee attritions, and strategy provided to lessen high turnover rates. Yeah. And thank you for your listening. This is our reference. Thank you.